the night of the crime, you were with your boyfriend, and you watched the film Amélie.
Amélie, yeah.
Yeah. Was that the last movie you watched for like 4 years?
Yeah, that was the movie I was watching when this crime
sucks,
occurred. No, I love that movie.
Don't you think she's acting annoying a little bit?
No, I love that movie.
She acts like Amelia Bedelia a little bit, you think?
Sure.
It was the night that your life, I would hate it even more if your life got ruined the night I watched Amélie.
Amélie is the reason why I was safely in someone else's home instead of at home getting raped and murdered myself.
Hey guys, welcome to the Adam Friedland Show. It's your boy, Adam Friedland. Guys, on a sincere note, I want to thank everyone for the feedback we got on the last episode. It was really nice, and it seems like it reached a lot of people, and it feels good. It's unexpected. We didn't think that would happen, and it's pretty cool for all of us here at the office. And so thanks a lot again for everyone. It's embarrassing, I cried. Just don't. Girls saw that. As always, I want to thank our members here on YouTube.com for supporting the show through the Friedland Family Foundation. And if you're not a member and you want to get our episodes early and have your name in the credits, you can sign up here on YouTube.com. There's two different ways. You could click the join button at the top of your screen, or you could click the link in the description of this video below. And if you prefer to support the show through Patreon, there's also a link in the description of this episode. Guys, as you may have noticed, I'm looking pretty fresh today. I'd like to announce officially we will be releasing Adam Friedland Show merch in the next week. This has taken way too long to get off the ground, and I can assure you it has nothing to do with my civil rights moment. I'm not. This is really embarrassing. Should we not actually sell merch? Is this weird?
It might be kind of weird.
It's kind of in bad taste. Guys, this is coincidental. This is a coincidental merch launch. Fuck. That's weird.
Yeah, we really shouldn't do that.
I saved the Jews last week, and now I'm throwing them back in. Now I'm throwing them back in the fucking oh my god. As you may, we're launching merch, and it's unrelated to anything that's been happening recently in the show. We're launching merch. It's been a fucking comedy of errors to get the site up. The site will be launching by the end of the week. We're selling these hats. They're pretty sick. God, it feels, oh my God. I was Queen Esther last week, and now I'm fucking Adolf Eichmann. So, guys, what are we selling? We're selling these hats. Pretty sick. We got these shirts. This is based on a Jay Leno shirt from The Tonight Show from the early 90s. Hero of mine. Zach, what else we got? We got this one. This is more of a punk rock style with the new Adam Friedland Show logo. And one more. Ooh, a military green, folks. So, folks, by the end of the week, whoever the fuck, we thought that the web designer guy stole money from, it's been a long story, guys. And it's unrelated to anything that's happened recently. We will be launching our merch store. And for those that are members and patrons, there will be a discount code for all of our merch. My guest this week is Amanda Knox, the activist and author who was wrongly accused of murdering her roommate Meredith Kircher in 2007 while the two lived together during a study abroad program in Italy. Amanda suffered through a long legal battle, including a 4-year stint in an Italian prison that ended with her exoneration on the charges of murder. The story is now the subject of a new Hulu original series, The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox, which Knox co-produced with Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky co-signed. Monica, we need you on the show next. Please, Monica, Monica. I would please. Anyway, so here's my conversation with Amanda Knox. I usually don't like people who have been to jail, but we actually got along great, so please enjoy. This episode is sponsored by Ro. Rosparks is a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who need a secret weapon. It's the new wave. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve right under the tongue. So no more waiting to perform. After Rose Sparks dissolve, they can work in 15 minutes on average after they dissolve. They give you a boost that lasts longer and can give you bigger, longer erections, which is my dream. Isn't that, Thomas, how does that sound? Can you imagine? Spark stays active in your system for up to 36 hours. So you can get back to back, round after round, ready the morning after. And that's my favorite kind of sex, with bad breath. Bad breath. The best part, it's 100% online, so there's no awkward conversations with in-person providers. If approved, treatment ships directly to your door. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off your first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. So connect with your provider at ro.co/TAFS to find out if a prescription Rose Sparks are right for you. Again, that's ro.co/TAFS for $15 off your first order. Get your fucking dick hard with this shit. Thanks again. Our next guest is a published author, podcaster, executive producer whose life story has recently been turned into a television series on Hulu. Please welcome Amanda Knox, everyone.
What a beautiful show. Thank you for having me.
I know I've been talking about this iPad thing. I don't know if...
Did it turn off on you?
It just, I don't know if this is going to be the new style of the show.
Is this your subtle way of beginning the conversation?
No, it's me talking about myself, which is a great way to interview.
But do you always use your middle finger to touch the pad?
You picked up on that? No, I was flipping you off. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You were strongly advised against doing the show?
I was so strongly advised against. No,
who
just a friend of mine who was like, I'm afraid that he's gonna laugh at you, not with you.
Why would I laugh at you?
I don't know.
I'm nice.
You have apparently a reputation.
So Whitney Cummings said, "Don't do the show."
No, it was not.
You
Whitney.
bastard.
It was not Whitney.
Whitney Cummings, you're officially an enemy of the show.
No,
I'm adding you to the list of enemies of the show.
Cummings.
DJ Academics, you're at number 1. Whitney Cummings, you're a close second.
Oh my God.
Donald Trump, you've moved down to 3.
Yes, it was Donald.
Donald Trump said don't do the show. Do you have his number?
No, I do not.
Monica Lewinsky said don't do the show.
No, but I do have her number.
I watched your podcast you did with Monica.
What'd you think?
I just love Monica.
She's so funny.
I love you. I don't love. Sorry, your husband's here. I don't love. I like both of you. You guys have a good dynamic.
Yeah, but she's so sweet and she's so smart and she works her ass off and she's been through hell. What's not to love?
You guys have a commonality there because you guys have been your stories have been you've been blasted out in the public eye and kind of
Yeah, and fought tooth and nail to have a say over who we are in the public imagination, and she really was the one who forged the path forward. I mean, I'm following in her footsteps.
Obviously, your story became incredibly, global news.
Where were you when it was going on, by the way?
I had an alibi. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I did too, but it didn't do anything.
I have an alibi for where I was. Do you think that, I know we're jumping around a million directions, but do you think that the phenomenon of true crime, which your story's kind of been retconned into, because I think it,
it is a true crime in the sense that a true crime occurred. My roommate was raped and murdered and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What I mean is as kind of a cottage industry in society, post Serial, it's become it's exploded, right?
Yeah. Well, I think Serial was possible because of documentaries like Making a Murderer and
Thin Blue Line,
and even the documentary that Netflix did on my case.
Yeah.
So.
I sometimes my girlfriend am I correct in thinking it's a majority female audience?
Yes. Yeah. Typically, it's a majority female audience, and that's interesting. Why is it that guys like watching things explode and girls like watching solving
tackles.
Crimes? I don't know. Maybe true crime is dealing more with the process of the aftermath of the destruction, whereas men are more interested in the destruction itself.
Sometimes I think that it's sometimes they want to see a lady whose life is worse than theirs.
Maybe.
Sometimes I'm in the morning, my girlfriend's reading Apple News, and her algorithm is just, I call it girlfriend news. I'll like wake up and she'll be like, a baby committed suicide. And I'm like, why is this in the news? And I was like, I don't want to know that.
It is true. So, okay, so now we're getting into why is the media what it is? And because we know that the strongest feeling that drives engagement is outrage. Yeah. So when you see something like a baby commits suicide, you automatically.
It's sad. It's too sad.
And my phone does this to me too. Like, I can't figure out, I'm an old lady with this stuff too. Like, and I don't want it. I don't want this information out there. Like, I don't need that. I need kitty videos. That's what I need. And thankfully it also serves me up that. But like the outrage machine that drives engagement, which is what our entire media industry is built upon, is built upon that. But I think it's not quite fair to say that it's just that your girlfriend wants to see someone whose life is worse than theirs.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I think it's more coming from an empathetic place.
Each other, though.
Yeah,
right. No, I think it's probably that the women's lives are like under threat probably more than men's lives are, right?
We do feel the precariousness of our lives more, I think.
Women are violence, under threat of violence more than men are, so I think that probably it kind of plays into that.
Is that true? I mean, men are under threat of violence as well. They're just under threat of violence from each other.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, it's true.
Especially when you're a white straight guy like me.
Yeah.
Everyone
just wants to punch your face.
We've touched on a lot of things that I want to expand upon later on, but for those individuals, we have a lot of like 4-year-olds that watch this show, so they might not be familiar with the year 2007.
Right.
For me, I was in university. It was a glory. I was Animal Collective.
Are we the same age? How old are we?
I'm 87. We are the same age.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, class of 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm July. When are you?
April.
Do you a little older? You can tell.
Do you respect me as an older guy?
We'll see at the end of this conversation.
It's cool. Are you jealous? Yeah. No. So yeah, we are the same age. 2007, we all remember it. Animal Collective, Merriweather Post Pavilion. We got.
Sure, the Manic Pixie Dream Girl thing was big in those days.
Club article. Yeah, I remember that. You grew up in Seattle. Mm-hmm. You went to UW, right? Mm-hmm. I actually know a lot of people that grew up in that environment, Pacific Northwest. It's like a very specific like Patagonia vest kind of situation.
Yes, it is that kind of situation. We all go outside a lot, even though the weather isn't always accommodating.
Yeah.
Pretty progressive.
Yeah.
I was the kind of kid who could just do my own thing and be a creative weirdo, and it wasn't a big deal.
So clearly your case, you went to college and then you became an international spectacle.
Yeah.
From just under the most traumatic, worst circumstances.
Yeah.
That's how fair. I guess prior to your arrest, you must have understood that it became tabloid news. I think in 3 countries, right? Primarily, like Italy, the United Kingdom, and the United States.
Yeah. So really early on, it was already clear that there was a lot of media buzz around the case. However, I wasn't aware of what media they were. I was in and out of the police station, so it's not like I was sitting at home, which my home was now a crime scene, so I didn't have a home. I was hanging out with my boyfriend of a week, who was now taking me under his wing and letting me stay at his place while I had nowhere else to go. Mm-hmm. And
that really moves the relationship forward, I guess.
Yeah.
Being accused of a crime,
Well, we hadn't been accused yet, right?
Yeah,
so, in the first few days, we just were responding to this crazy, horrific thing that it seemed to come out of completely nowhere. We were having this beautiful study abroad experience, our whole lives ahead of us, everything was going great until suddenly I come home and there's a crime scene. And I call the cops because I don't know what to do. And they come and the whole thing explodes. And it's happening so quickly. I was arrested within 5 days. And in those 5 days, I was being questioned for over 10 hours a day. So there was no way for me to keep pace with how fast everything was developing, in spite of the fact that we didn't actually there wasn't a lot known about what happened to my roommate at the time. Like very little was known. It was just all a lot of pressure descending upon this small town and on these, local law enforcement who were charged with discovering who had committed this really heinous and is seemingly inexplicable crime.
And to contextualize, I'm a bad interviewer.
Yes.
You were on study abroad.
Yes.
And your roommate was murdered.
Yes.
And then you were questioned for 5 days and then later incarcerated and
okay, so yes.
I'm terrible at my job. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So why don't you share your story? We'll
sure.
edit it.
We'll edit it in. No. So for those who are not familiar, when I was 20 years old, back in 2007, I went to go study abroad. I lived in a house with 3 other young women, one of whom one day was discovered raped and murdered in her bedroom. And this was very shortly. I was only in Perugia for like 5 weeks, so I was like just getting my bearings, and I still was not fluent in the language. And I'm, the youngest person in the house, and I'm the one who comes home and stumbles across this crime scene. I call the police, and the police come and they start investigating this case. But from the very early stages, and this is known now because like the prosecutor has written his own book about it and everything. When they came and discovered the crime scene, they immediately thought that what was apparently visible, that there was a break-in, that whoever broke in raped and stabbed to death my roommate, that was actually staged. It was faked. There was actually something more conspiratorial going on. And so they believed that someone who had access to the house, who lived in the house, was involved. And that suspicion fell very quickly onto me. Mm-hmm. And so they pursued a case against me, even when, the DNA evidence and all the evidence in the case came back showing that it was this known burglar, known for being aggressive towards women, who had a history of breaking and entering. Mm-hmm. All of his DNA was at the crime scene. They had already, footprints, bloody handprints, his DNA in my roommate's body, like all of that definitively proving his guilt in this case. But by the time that they identified that evidence, they had already arrested me. Mm-hmm. And so instead of admitting that they were wrong, they pursued a case where they suggested that I had orchestrated a murder orgy. Mm-hmm. And that story just blew up over the world.
I mean, it's like perfect fodder for tabloid news.
Yes.
What's interesting also is that 2007 was like kind of an inflection point, I think, of media.
Totally.
Like, so you were kind of at the tail end of like tabloid establishment, like The Sun and the Daily Mail, and it's subsequently changed. It's kind of like you got Facebook the year before that, right?
Yeah, so the iPhone came out that year.
Yeah. I started texting freshman year.
There you go.
Yeah.
We did not have smartphones back in those days. I was on a Nokia flip phone.
Remember the days.
Or like even just, in Perugia, I didn't have internet. I had to go to an internet cafe.
Yeah.
Like, talk about aging myself. Like internet cafes were a thing.
You hear that, Joji? Back in our day, yeah.
Yeah, back in our day, you had to go to a cafe to email your mom. And so it was a different time. And you're right, like it was the beginning. It was when I think traditional establishment media was really realizing that there was a crisis. There was an economic crisis. Their economic model was not going to survive the internet. Mm-hmm. And so they were desperate to try to retain readers, and to do so with less of a budget, and so cheaply, quickly, efficiently to try to outcompete the internet. Uh-huh. And as a result, they just made shit up and perpetuated misinformation because they were in their death throes. And
also it was 3 different countries, correct?
Yes,
so the narrative, in the UK, their tabloid rags was like the foxy noxy, like they love rhymes over there.
I've learned this since then, yes.
Foxy noxy is just, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for those guys. They're like, this is perfect, print it.
Yeah.
And then in the United States, it was like this like American girls, scared abroad,
Right. Some of it was, although like
and it was also just the salacious sex angle too.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
The orgies and
there was this like weird angle here in the U.S., specifically with like the Daily Beast. I recall was really terrible, but like there was a writer who wrote for the Daily Beast who just wrote these just nonstop articles about student killer Amanda Knox, student killer Amanda Knox.
Girl?
Yeah, it was women. Yeah, it was women writers.
She hating on you.
Yeah, she was.
My point proven.
Oh no!
They want to see other women destroyed. No.
Well, but that also was this like narrative that the prosecution was putting forth that like all women hate other women. Hence, of course, Amanda
so I agree with
murder.
the prosecution. Sue me.
Yeah.
And then also in Italy, there was like this kind of, it's a Catholic country. It was a religious prosecutor, and then they were kind of labeled.
There was definitely a Madonna, Madonna whore dichotomy that was going on, where both my roommate and I were completely misrepresented. So in Italy itself, they had stereotypes about what are American girls like, what are British girls like, and they thought, well, British girls are uptight and judgmental, and American girls are loose and slutty. And well, whatever, they're human beings, and they have all these different facets. But the way that it got presented in court was Meredith is this like uptight, judgmental person. Amanda is this slutty, sort of in-your-face person. Obviously, their confrontation would result in a sex murder. And for me at the time, like what was so frustrating about it was this was obviously a fantasy that was built on stereotypes and misogynistic pornographic fantasy. Yeah. But so many people bought into it. And I'm actually curious, like back in the day, do you remember, did you ever follow it?
You're beautiful.
Well, thank you.
No, I mean, that was like an aspect of it. I was going to say, my father was like, that was another news story where he was like, she's beautiful, Adam, and she's across the world and she's scared. And I was like, oh, my dad's in love with this. My dad was. Should we hit him up?
Yeah,
he gets so embarrassed, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, Dad, I'm with your crush right now from back in the day.
Well, you know what? We should send him a selfie.
No, come on, let's not embarrass. I'm sorry to embarrass you, dude. She thinks you're cute. I know. Listen, I don't want to lead you astray. Your husband's here too. You have nothing to worry about with this guy. It must be. It's actually so funny that was how the British and American girls were labeled. Because I don't know if you've been on vacation, but
you sound like you're afraid that you're about to be murdered.
The night of the. No, I'm not. By the British, these people are, come on. They're pathetic people.
Okay.
They've never, I'm sorry, I'm causing an international event right now.
Yeah, you are.
With the night of the crime, you were with your boyfriend of 5 days. First of all, did it accelerate the relationship? Did you guys drop I love you faster?
Well, no, I think it's more the opposite. Like, in fact, something that is an undercurrent of the show that we've developed here is this story of love lost, right? Like here, both Rafaela and I were both at the very beginning stages of this like young love. And handsome but like sweet. Yeah, like he was shy. Like he was very unlike a lot of the Italian guys that I met. And he was shy, he was sweet,
Princesa.
Well, yeah, he was very cavalleresco. He was very chivalrous, yeah.
Chivalrous.
Yeah.
He sucks, this guy, dude. You don't have nothing to worry about. In front of your husband? No, that guy looks so,
But anyway, yeah, but then we're like put into this horrible nightmare of a situation where he's only known me for a week.
Yeah.
And suddenly, because he's my alibi, he's being accused of involvement in this horrible crime. And he then spends 4 years in prison and 8 years on trial and is convicted at a certain point and reconvicted at a certain point.
Did you guys try an LDR?
LDR?
Long distance relationship?
No, I feel like I was more focused on proving my innocence.
I'm being a fucking. Maybe I am being mean. Maybe your advice against doing the show is correct.
No. But I hear your point. Like, oh, okay,
it could be romantic. It could be like the world is against us.
Well, you know what? I mean, and this is something I talk about in my book, is like the world was vilifying me for my sexuality, and the very fact that I was like a desirable object became like a point of like deep shame and fear for me, because not only was I being, you know, vilified in the press, like I was getting sexually I was sexually harassed in prison by prison guards. I was, you know, being accused of being this like sex monster in court, and so just like the fact that I'm attractive to other people became a object, like a reason for me to like hate myself and to feel like I was just being destroyed because of other people's like sexual fixations on me. And so the idea of being anyone's object of interest became suddenly very toxic to me.
Obviously you're a private person and suddenly you're not a private person anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And that's like adjusting to that is a very difficult thing, I would imagine. Yeah.
I mean, to have every intimate detail of my life brutally scrutinized was a huge thing when I was 20 years old.
The night of the crime, you were with your boyfriend, and you watched the film Amélie.
Amélie, yeah.
Yeah. Was that the last movie you watched for like 4 years?
I mean, there were some movies that we were able to watch in prison, but that was the movie I was watching when this crime occurred. No, I love that movie.
No, if it was you, she's kind of annoying in that. It's just in French. Don't you think she's acting annoying a little bit?
I mean, it depends on what you think is annoying.
My thought was like, if that was the last movie you watched for 4 years, I'd be like, oh, I wish it was a better movie.
No, I love that movie.
She acts like Amélie Bedelia a little bit, you think?
Sure, yeah, but there's something charming about Amélie Bedelia, yeah.
What do you mean? She's making a mess? She's supposed to be the nanny? She's knocking into things?
She has magical thinking. She's, you know, she's experiencing the world in that manic pixie dream girl kind of way, which I can a little bit relate to.
No way. She's not Natalie Portman in Garden State. That's a lady that's making my house into a mess. I would fire Amélie Bedelia. And no, that's just like...
It's the same kind of vibe.
My stupid mind, that was my thought.
What movie would you watch before you went to prison for 4 years?
Good question. I guess Donnie Darko?
Okay.
It's a smart movie.
Yeah, sure. Is that going to give you the strength to get through?
Yeah, it's pretty trippy and stuff, and you think.
Okay.
I've thought about it, you know.
Just it would give you nightmares in the days. It would be distracting. That gave me nightmares when I saw it.
It's a movie. It's make believe. I'm not afraid of it. I've never been afraid of a movie.
Oh, okay. I get scared.
Have you ever been like offered like were you ever offered like a career in entertainment after you got out of prison? Like
ish. Like someone wanted me to star in a porn.
And I imagine like you had court fees and stuff like that, and like how did your family paid for your defense, right?
Yes, they went into debt paying for my defense. Yeah.
Right now, I mean, you seem like you've processed it and you're speaking about like a traumatic experience in public, and but it has to also be something you've spoken about a million times, and it has to also be like as a human being probably annoying, right?
So here's what's annoying. And I've had annoying experiences with this, where it feels like I've had conversations with people where it felt like they didn't actually care what I had to say. They just had their own preconceived idea of what my story was, and they wanted to be the one who got to ask me, "Did you murder your roommate?" And they didn't really care what my answer was. They just wanted to be the person who got to ask me that.
Yeah.
And so any kind of conversation that is just limited to what did you do that night, and like just in basically putting me on trial again, like I find that to be tiresome and unoriginal and not very useful, because I think the actual facts speak for themselves, and I shouldn't have to defend myself in that way anymore. But when I have a conversation, like this is the first time I'm having this conversation with you, and I don't actually know you that well, so I'm kind of discovering. Yeah. You're defending yourself. I'm not judging you.
Brand's been friends with me how long? Yeah.
But it's curious to me, like what you find curious about it and what you might know about it. Because there are a million different ways that I've had to process this experience from all the different angles, and it seems like one thing that you're deeply interested in is this question of like, I mean, you're a media maker, so it makes sense that you're very curious about like how media has evolved and what
Some
have
would
we
say
learned.
mogul, yeah, but
Right,
yeah.
you're a media
Yeah.
mogul, you're an icon, and so you want to know, like, how do you go about, you know, being a media icon and mogul ethically and responsibly?
I don't. Come on, I'm just trying my best. You know, I don't know how I found myself in this position in life, but you know.
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Why do you have the influence to like have somewhat like to share information?
No. Yeah,
Is that
it's a
it?
stupid world. Yeah.
Well, okay, so like, how did
I
you?
pooped my pants on a podcast.
Is that what happened?
I was with two way more talented guys on a podcast where I was like a nebbish.
Okay.
So we like rebuilt the Dick Cavett show set, and now now the newspaper thinks that this is a real thing, and but in reality I'm a fraud. I don't even know how to read.
Okay, well, but that's interesting. Like
I read
of
Harry
media.
Potter, all of them though.
All right, high five.
Have you read those?
Are you kidding me? I read them in prison too. Yeah, no, that's how I learned how to speak Italian in prison.
You read Harry Potter in Italian?
Yeah, because I
Hermione.
Hermione Granger. No,
I love her. I wish Harry got her.
I mean, no, they didn't have that dynamic.
They
never had that
though.
dynamic.
She's so good at school, and
yeah, sure, and he's weird and traumatized, and like needs that Ginny energy. She's a strong woman.
I know. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's kind of sick that he's like now he's real brothers with Ron.
Yes, thank you.
But like honestly, we were at the age where Harry was our age. Every year the book came out. How sick was that?
It was the
and then
best.
when he was like,
it was the best.
And when he was like he wanted to take down Cho Chang. I don't know why I said it that way.
Take down Cho Chang. Okay.
He wanted to clap Cho Chang.
This is what.
I'm sorry I'm talking this way. I'm a fucking idiot. When Harry was trying to clap Cho Chang at school, what a race! Those books in retrospect are so racist.
Sometimes.
Have you seen Cho Chang? Come on. Have you ever seen? Someone asked J.K. Rowling on Twitter, "Is there any Jewish wizards?" And she goes, Anthony Goldstein, Ravenclaw. Anthony Goldstein, Ravenclaw. Yeah, I mean, obviously we all know the goblins are the Jews, but it's kind of, as we found out in society, it's probably more accurate than... No, let's get back on track. But it was sick he was our age.
He was sick he was our age, and I got to appreciate...
And Drake is our age too. Yeah, so...
Well, no, I was going to say, I got to appreciate more of Harry Potter's story in prison because there's a certain point where the whole world turns against him and calls him a liar and throws him under the bus. And I was like, Harry and I have so much in common right now.
And he had to leave. Mm-hmm. He had to go away, even though Hogwarts was the most special place in the world. You know, it was the place he loved the most. Yeah. But I guess Dumbledore believed him the whole time. You know.
Oh, of course, yeah. Dumbledore would not have gone down with the ship if he didn't think that Harry could take the reins.
Yeah. And it turns out Snape was the good guy.
I know. I'm so in love with that turn of events. Snape forever.
Snape forever? Mm-hmm. Do you ever think that Snape sounds like he just had milk to... Like he had milk in his...
I wasn't judging.
5 points from Gryffindor.
I was just hearing him.
I could go on forever about this Harry Potter crap, and don't get me started on the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them series.
Which I haven't really actually watched.
I actually watched it on a plane recently. It's kind of fire.
Okay.
It goes into Dumbledore when he was gay and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
But whatever. Well, let's not touch this.
Also, there's like a Hufflepuff main character.
Yeah, well,
I'm into that.
Are you Huff?
I'm Huff.
Me too.
What?
It took me a while to admit. I'm lazy and stupid. I used to say,
They're
"Oh no,
loyal
I'm definitely
and hardworking." What are you talking about?
Loyal. I actually am loyal. I've been cheated on multiple times and not realized it because of my loyalty. Here's another stupid one, like the Amélie thing. But like, I mean, Italian food is really good. Like, was the food?
Are you asking? So many people ask me about Italian prison food. It's still prison food, my friend. So no, I did not get to eat Italian cuisine.
I'm not saying like
prison.
Michelin star, but you know, like a cacio pepe is 3 ingredients. What they give you, gruel?
So I mean, we did get pasta noodles, but often they were just like plain in olive oil or plain with broth.
It's not bad.
I mean, sure, it's
No,
you know what? It's better than the U.S. where you get like
US.
rotten bologna. So
Yeah.
you know what? I'll take it. But yeah, we were fed twice a day, and it was a very strict, like the most basic meat, the most basic, boiled vegetable, and then pasta either with oil or broth.
Did you establish like relationships with other women in there? Have you maintained relationships with anyone that you were with?
Yeah, actually. So again, you spent 4 years of my life there, and
Who's your bestie?
My bestie from prison?
Yeah.
Well, there was one other American woman who was my cellmate for quite a while, and we depict her in the show. She's an older woman who really kind of took me under her wing because I was a deer in headlights. Like, I was not prepared for the prison environment. I did not understand that there is like a world of like poverty and deprivation that I was just like completely, like I was one of the only people in prison who had all of my teeth. I was one of the few people who could read and write. I had to explain to my cellmates at one point that the earth is a sphere. Like the level of just like not knowing it was shocking to me. And so it really gave me a bigger perspective about like what this world is all about and the conditions that people like you and me find ourselves in that put us in a position to fail.
Yeah.
And so I learned to have a lot of sympathy for these women who were guilty of the crimes that they committed, but really had never been set up to make good decisions in the first place.
How many times have you been asked the question about Orange is the New Black?
Not that many times. Really? I tried watching that when I came home, and it was too difficult for me to watch.
Yeah, me too.
Blah,
blah, you know?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, I've also, like, visited a prison once since I got back, and actually this is...
I wouldn't imagine you'd want to watch that show. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm curious to see how prison is depicted now that it's a very real thing for me. But the one time I did go back to prison, like, after all this to visit, was a Washington State prison, and I was going there to support this program called Yoga Behind Bars. And I went to go see the program in person, and of course I have to go through the whole process of like getting patted down and going through the metal detector, and I was given this little like badge, and they were like, don't lose the badge or you can't leave the prison. And I was like, fuck off. And then like, of course we're doing yoga, so I take the badge off and I leave it in the yoga room, and I try to get out of the prison, and they're like, you can't leave. And I was like having a panic attack and cried the whole way home.
I want to talk about the prosecutor in the case.
Sure.
I understand that you've, can you first please like explain kind of what his attitude was during the investigation, during the prosecution, and what because I think it's an interesting thing to share for the story.
Yeah, okay. So in the series we depict not just my personal evolution as a human being who's gone through this process, but also my prosecutors. So in Italy, one thing to know is that prosecutors lead investigations. They're in charge of the investigation. They're not like separate from detectives like they are here in the US. And so from the very beginning, he was the one who was crafting the narrative about what he believed to be true. And he was the one who previously had investigated this really famous serial killer case in Italy called the Monster of Florence case that went unsolved.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, it's basically like the Jack the Ripper of Italy. Is something that and it was a very like sexually charged, like mutilated bodies, really, really horrible stuff. So he had that history behind him. He also investigated.
He was a pious gentleman? He was like religious?
Yes, he's a very spiritual man, very Catholic, and just very traditional in nature. Like politically traditional.
He judged you for being a young woman.
Yeah. I mean,
your sexuality.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the way that he positioned both Meredith and me is that here's this like good, like not necessarily pious, but like pure virginal British girl who's obviously judgmental because she's British, who is like, scolding the, flippant and slutty American girl, and the American girl in response murders her by raping her and stabbing her to death. That was the narrative that he imagined. And and he was really explicit about it. Like, he was standing up there in court saying Amanda was taunting and torturing Meredith while murdering her, and saying, "This is what you get, you little goody two shoes." Like, it was all just this like thing that he imagined. He also imagined that I was in this like secret love triangle with the actual murderer, because of course he had to like somehow account for this guy's DNA being all over the crime scene.
Into the media narrative. I think that's what I thought about the case.
Like that there was this like crazy love triangle.
Maybe I
thing?
wasn't like, I was like smoking weed in college. I wasn't like,
that was another thing. I was smoking weed, therefore I'm a drug addict.
Hash, and watched Amélie, which is not that good. Okay, anyway, but
why do you guys hate Amélie?
It's just in French. Sometimes you watch a French movie and they're like, they say something and you read it as, in a subtitle, which is like,
they have their own language.
Love is the most powerful drug, and like you're like, it sounds beautiful in their beautiful language.
Yeah.
But if someone said that in English, I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
And to your point, though, that like there even just ways of saying things becomes ways of thinking things. And I think that was also true in Italian culture, which also has a very like romantic bent, like French. Anyway.
Yeah, Europeans just say the dumbest crap. They're like, there's nice.
Says the American.
They do. They say things like, "Do you know Bob Dylan?" And I'm just like, what are you, 8 years old? What are we, 8? Of course, he's my favorite. Do you know Sgt. Pepper? Only Hearts Club. It's like fucking. They're too naive. It's too much healthcare. No, my understanding, just from like seeing headlines, was that it was like a Fleetwood Mac situation.
What does that mean?
Like two couples, and then they're like swapping girlfriends. Yeah, I thought that's what I was like. They were like there was like everyone was having sex.
This is the swinging 60s, and then
suddenly that's like what I kind of superficially saw. Like, but I wasn't paying close attention to it because I was like focusing on crossovers, dunks, tackles.
Sure.
Strong men, gorgeous bodies.
Sure.
Yeah,
of course. And I think that's also one of the sort of points the show makes, is like there's this superficial narrative that people take in bits and pieces here and there, and they get this like general vibe, but it doesn't, like when you actually dig into what really happened, there's so much evidence that reveals a very clear, what happened, and like this like feeling, this vibe that people have is like, we'll never know what happened, but we know that it was something sexy, is just false.
Yeah, we were talking on the phone yesterday, and this is something that I've been thinking about since researching for this, but we were talking about like, what would your case, how would it be processed in 2025? And like the sense I get is that there would be a massive GoFundMe, right? You would have like stands, if you will. Then there would be a backlash saying like, if Amanda wasn't beautiful, would anyone care? The third stage would probably be some sort of Pizzagate, like conspiratorial.
Well, there was that as well at the time,
so
right?
What was that at the time?
Well, that at the time is this like idea that I was in this like secret threesome with the actual murderer, and that they were like, so the idea was that I was openly in a relationship with Raffaele, but secretly also in a relationship with this other local burglar.
Yeah.
And that
like
they were
they
were competing for my attention.
Yeah.
And so raped my roommate for me to like outcompete each other and then hold her down while I stabbed her to death. Like that was the story. And then the idea that like I was covering it up, and that Hillary Clinton was like behind the scenes trying to get me acquitted. Like it was insane, the level
Hillary Clinton didn't try to help?
I mean, I think one time she was she went to go visit Italy on a diplomatic thing, and somebody like asked, "Are you following the Amanda Knox case?" And she was like, "We at the State Department are aware of the case." And everyone took that to mean that she's like gonna, the FBI is gonna show up and they're gonna break me out of prison, and no one was doing that.
Thanks for nothing, Hillary.
Oh, well.
Thanks for nothing, Hillary.
There is due process, I suppose.
I know. So you were acquitted after 4 years, and then there was a second trial. Is that correct?
Yes.
So when would this entire ordeal when did it feel wrapped up?
Ooh, depends on what you mean by wrapped up.
Right.
So I was on trial for murder for 8 years, and then eventually the Supreme Court in Italy definitively exonerated me. But they also convicted me of a lesser crime, which was slander. So they said that when I was interrogated and I was coerced into signing statements, that I did so knowingly and maliciously, lying to the police, and therefore I'm a criminal and I deserved 3 years in prison. And that is a charge that I'm still fighting to this day, 18 years later.
When was the first time you returned to the United States? And what
that was after 4 years in prison. Yeah.
What was it like for you? Like, what were the initial lingering feelings you had, and what stayed? You know, and what did you have to work through?
So this was actually a really important part that we wanted to depict in the show, because in a typical true crime biopic, it's just like a courtroom drama.
Yeah.
But Monica and I, so again, Monica Lewinsky, who worked on this project with me, really wanted to. Yeah, she's amazing. It was really important to us to show this long tail, the trauma itself that happened here has a tremendously long tail, and you're forever altered by this traumatic experience. So yeah, in those early days, and we depict this in the show, it's even the mere ability to open a door just took on all of this symbolic weight. And I marveled at the banal, the fact that I could open a refrigerator and choose what I wanted to eat. The fact that I could go from one room to another without an escort. But at the same time, I'm living under a tremendous amount of a new kind of pressure, which is that media pressure that I was a little bit insulated by in the prison. I only ever encountered the media in the courtroom, and now suddenly my house was surrounded.
Yeah.
There were helicopters outside my house. So this went on for years.
I imagine there were stalkers. I imagine there were
stalkers,
people that were
threats,
obsessed with you.
Yeah, I couldn't get a regular job. I couldn't make friends. I lived in hiding for another 4 years while I was still undergoing trial. And it was really hard.
How did you heal from that experience? How did you? You seem like a well-adjusted individual.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. By freaking knowing my value, and having that reasserted for me by the people I love. When I first met, I would not be here if it weren't for my husband Chris, who I met.
What up, dude?
I met
He's a good
him.
guy.
He's a very good guy.
Good guy, yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't. When we first met each other, it was right after I had been definitively exonerated.
Yeah.
So I wasn't facing prison time anymore. I wasn't just fighting to stay technically, physically free. And I suddenly was able to experience the world with a new sense of openness. And he was one of the first people I made friends with afterwards. I actually interviewed him for his debut novel that came out called War of the Encyclopedists. And so I reviewed that. Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. It's a great book. I like to say I wasn't sleeping with the man until after I read it. So
my girlfriend's never listened to a single podcast or watched a single thing I've ever done, and it's probably better that way.
Really? You think that she would not want to? Yeah, she'd
she
break
watched
up.
this. She'd probably be like, "What are you bringing up Amélie so much for? It's not that
Why
good.
you hate it?
Admit it's not that good."
I love that movie.
Oh
I
my
will
God.
fight you.
How could you even like that movie? It was the night that your life. I would hate it even more if your life got ruined the night I watched Amélie.
Amélie is the reason why I was safely in someone else's home instead of at home getting raped and murdered myself. Amélie saved me.
So yeah, Amélie is a good guy or a good lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
she's
love her.
Annoying, but she's a good lady. We can admit it. Do you often think about what your life would be like had this never happened?
I do, and sometimes I worry that I would have been a less valuable person. I do think that I carry with me, before all this happened, I was annoying. I was an annoying Amélie person who nothing bad had ever happened to.
Yeah.
I was annoying.
We were 20 though.
I was 20 and I had zero perspective about the world. Everything was a fucking Disney princess fantasy, and
You weren't annoying. You were figuring it out.
I was figuring it out, but so was Amélie, man.
There had to be a moment where, because obviously you were under such scrutiny when you got back, where you wanted it to probably disappear from the public eye. When was the moment where you wanted to return to the public eye? How did you become confident or empowered enough to do that? And what factored into that decision? 12 questions.
Yeah.
14. You want some more?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
What happens at the end of Amélie? Also? I forget the ending. Maybe it's actually a good movie.
It's sweet. She finds another quirky guy. So there's a manic pixie dream guy.
Quirky guy means that he has a shady past. Let's be honest. He did some things in college.
He does take pictures of people and collect them. Yeah, it's true.
Is she okay?
They seem very happy together.
No, okay, sorry.
This is not super relevant.
No. It's not relevant at all. I'm
sorry. What was your previous question?
The previous question was like, obviously you wanted to disappear from the public eye, probably.
Sure,
And then what empowered you to re-enter public life?
So one of the issues was that, yes, I wanted to hide from public life because I wanted to just go back to being an anonymous college student, and the world wouldn't let me. I kept being followed around. I couldn't go to class without people taking pictures of me and posting them. Yeah. So becoming an anonymous person was not an option for me. And I really struggled with that because I felt like there wasn't a good option for me. I couldn't be a private person, but also as a public person, I was a pariah. So what role do I have? And I felt completely trapped. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I didn't know what to do. I just got a minimum wage job. And I was in a bookstore underground, literally underground, and I had no idea what I could do. And again, it wasn't until I was writing for a local newspaper at the time under a pseudonym.
The Stranger?
No, not The Stranger. Yeah. The Stranger wrote really bad shit about me. But you know what?
Was it a girl?
No, it was not.
Okay, never mind.
However, the chief editor apologized to me recently for that.
Have you been back to Italy?
Well, that is something that the show shows when I go back to Italy and confront my prosecutor. But, and you did ask me about that before, what's the deal with the prosecutor? And one of the things that helped me sort of figure out this time of my life where I'm still feeling really trapped was I was also struggling with the why of it all. Why did this man look at me, a young woman with no precedent, no motive, nothing, connecting me to this crime? Why did he look at me and think there's my rapist and murderer? Why? And it just bothered me that this person who had harmed me probably believed that he was doing the right thing. So how could that be possible? Right. And that's why I reached out to him, was to ask him.
Did he apologize? Did you get closure?
Well, I'm not going to spoil the show for you. You have to watch the show.
I mean, it's I
It's
know.
8 episodes.
Before I saw Titanic, I knew that it was going to crash.
Okay, well, I'm going to go there.
No, I mean, well, I guess how can I ask in a way that's not a spoiler alert?
Okay, yes. The way you can ask, it's not a spoiler alert.
Did it give you closure, right? Did it make you feel better or whole again?
Yes, and in a really, really surprising way.
I'm a professional. That was a good.
That's a good spin.
Let's go.
No, sorry. I totally missed you there.
That was a nice one.
Yeah. Okay, very profesh.
No, so go ahead. Sorry,
it's when I figured out that my well-being didn't depend on him giving me what I needed, which was acknowledgement and a mea culpa. As soon as I realized that my well-being didn't depend on his choices anymore, it depended on my own, then I realized that okay, what can I do? What can I choose to do in this moment that speaks to who I am and what I really believe? And what that was giving him the thing that he didn't give me, which was the benefit of the doubt. And I said a lot of things, which included defending myself, but which also included acknowledging his humanity and his belief that he was doing the right thing at the time. Right. And
no one wants to believe that they're evil.
That they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he made me the bad guy, but I didn't turn him into that. And
did you want to knuckle sandwich him ever?
No, I'm not a knuckle sandwich person.
Do you want to knuckle sandwich him?
No.
Really?
No, I think instead what you find when you actually sit down and listen to somebody without judgment is that they become fragile. And I can't hold this fragile person. He is a person who is struggling himself with his legacy and with his decisions, and I have sympathy for that. So no, I
guess it's pretty inspiring what you're saying right now, because you have to recognize he's someone that kind of ruined your life, but you recognize him as a human being, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not like that difficult a thing, but everyone says like, oh my God, how did you do that? And it's like, well, it's the truth. Like the thing that concerns me is not the easy story where it's like, he's a fucking bad guy who did a fucking bad thing. That's the easy story. The more true story.
It's just not how life works also.
No, it's not how life works. And if you really want to be an effective person in the world, and if you really care about the truth, you have to acknowledge that like everyone thinks they're the hero of their own fucking story. Mm-hmm. And like he believed he was the hero. And now he's being confronted with the fact that I'm not the monster that he thought I was, and now he has to reckon with that, and I have great sympathy for him.
Well, first of all, that you just did a spoiler alert entirely. But in reality, that's probably accomplished your goal, like of what you were seeking to do is just make him grapple with the fact that you are forgiving, like three-dimensional human being.
Yeah.
As our Lord and Savior, Mr. JC, has taught him.
Well, sure, yeah. Well, and to your point, like he's a spiritual person, and I think that he had a spiritual experience.
Yeah, you were being Christian.
I guess so.
You out-Christianed him.
I guess so. I Jesus jiu-jitsu'd him.
Dude. No, I mean, I find that incredibly inspiring, what you just said. It's like genuinely.
But that's how I really feel. I mean, like, again, like, and I think that's why this this story is super relevant today, where we find ourselves factioned by alternative realities and misinformation, and there's this like this great resistance to the idea that we could ever find common ground. And it's like, I think people are really cynical about finding common ground, and I want to push back on that notion and say, actually, like, one, we should stop just trying to find fault with each other and stop trying to like find reasons to hate each other. Like I'm so tired of people like finding reasons to be mad about something that is like so inconsequential. Like I've had something happen to me that I genuinely had every reason to like hate the entire fucking world because of it. And like I chose not to, because that's not the best way to live your life. And like I have a lot of like I want to push back on this notion that like to be righteous you have to be angry. You don't.
What is the sensation of seeing your life dramatized? And how do you process that, and how involved were you in the development of that narrative?
Yeah, well, because this is not the first time that I have been turned into a dramatization, right? This is just the first time that I've ever had a hand in it. There have been Lifetime films, and there was the Matt Damon film, and
Stillwater.
Yeah, Stillwater.
I watched it on a plane.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I didn't connect it actually. That was.
Oh yeah, they were advertising it as this is the Amanda Knox story, but
Really?
Slightly different. And of course, the Amanda Knox character is at least indirectly responsible for her roommate's death. So it's just like
to me,
perpetuating this like sex narrative of they were in a sex triangle thing. It was irresponsible. And so anyway, so like this came about because Monica reached out to me. She's already done, impeachment. She executive produced that, and she wanted to, I guess, help me be the next person who gets to tell my story in this way. And this time around, it was really interesting because I've always had this like negative connotation with the idea of there being a doppelganger version of me out there. It's always been a negative doppelganger.
Grace Van Patten, give it up for her.
Grace Van Patten is incredible.
Yeah.
She's
so talented.
So talented. And she dimensionalizes all of these aspects of me so that it's not just this cartoon character.
And you formed a relationship with her when she was developing like the character?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was involved from the whole process, from casting to breaking the story to I co-wrote the final episode with the curator and showrunner KJ Steinberg, who I have to give all the credit to because she didn't have to involve me so much in the creative process. Like she could have just taken it and been like, okay, sure, good job, you're an executive producer, but I'm gonna do my thing. Like she really involved me the entire way forward, and I'm really grateful that she mentored me really through this process. So yeah, I was there on set. I was watching all of the different cuts of all the different episodes. And of course I've been promoting the hell out of it because I believe in it. It's a good show.
Were there Are there any moments where it's just seeing like you're revisiting a trauma there, like
oh hell yeah,
in watching it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's got to be difficult for you to process. Yeah.
It was difficult. I think because I'm finally executive producing a project, I felt a great responsibility to get it right. Mm-hmm. The good thing was, though, is that I was in a warehouse full of hundreds of people who I deeply felt also were very concerned about getting it right.
Yeah.
And that made me feel so safe and supported. And so, like, for instance, the interrogation scene, it's in episode 2. Have you seen it yet? Have you watched?
I watched the pilot episode.
You watched the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch the second episode
I'm gonna watch the whole
tonight.
thing.
Yeah. But the one that is available right now is the second episode, and then next week there's another episode that comes out.
Sure.
But yeah, so you can see this interrogation scene, which was filmed over the course of 2 days, 10 hours a day from every different angle, and the psychological journey that Grace, as me, goes on, the psychological journey of her interrogators. It's such a nuanced thing, and it's not like the way that they depict it in, Law and Order TV shows. It's not like, it's way more complicated. Again, all of these stories are way more complicated and nuanced. And so for me, I was watching this, which was the worst experience of all. Being interrogated was far worse than like being convicted. Like all of it was. That was the one moment where I was made to feel utterly insane, and like I did not know what was true or not, and I was so scared.
You're alone.
And so alone, and trying to communicate in a foreign language. Like it was very, very scary. And getting that scene right I knew it was a challenge because I was the only one in this entire warehouse who knew what it was like. And yet they had done all this incredible research. They had talked to all of these people and came together and made it, and I wept with relief at the end because we had gotten it right.
That's beautiful.
So it's really good, and you'll have to text me how you react to it.
I will.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give me the play-by-play.
I'll live text.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll
love
be like,
that.
this reminds me of a certain Amélie.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
There are Amélie, like there's an homage to Amélie in this show. Did you notice that already from the pilot?
It's just in French, okay? No.
What do you have against French?
I don't know why. Because it's just, no, I'm just kidding. I was just in Marseille.
Yeah, right. Like, that's right.
It's kind of.
I think I understand you now. You
place.
hate love things. Like everything you love, you like.
The only thing I hate is myself. I mean,
which means you love yourself the most. Someone just felt heard. Someone just felt heard.
How long I known you? I took you to a Drake concert when you were 17. I know. It made me incredibly
uncomfortable. When I was
17. No. I mean, I think what's one like message you want someone to take away from the show? I guess like in conclusion, let's say.
Yeah, sure. So I think that the experience that I went through, while it is very extreme, is actually a more universal story than people give it credit for. And the universal story being that life is going to come at you, and even if you do everything right, something bad is going to happen to you. And at that point, you have a choice. If you can survive that bad thing that happens to you, do you let it have a say over who you become, or do you have a say over who you become? Do you take ownership, and how do you do that? And I think that I've learned to do that in my life, and it's come through a lot of struggle and a lot of obstacles, but like it is absolutely possible, and I believe in that. And so I would like people to come away from this series feeling very hopeful.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it, guys. I mean, I think that's, I find that, I really appreciate you coming on. I find that incredibly inspirational. Check out the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Hulu.
Check out the show.
And check out the podcast.
Yep, Hard Knocks. The show's called The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox on Hulu.
Check out Amanda comedy clubs all over America. You're going to be going on tour. How much time do you have?
How much
material do you have?
I did an hour.
You did an hour?
Yeah, I did an hour.
Just bit? Boop,
boop, boop, boop. All
or
by myself.
What? You did some alt comedy style stuff?
I mean, sure. Like I mix it up with some stuff that makes you laugh, it makes you cry.
Do you call your dad and like play a prank on like a prank call?
No, but one of my favorite things is when my dad is in the audience and I start telling sex jokes.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun.
How does he react? Boo!
No, he's so sweet. He's very supportive.
Anyway, Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
And thank you guys for coming today.